This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. First up today, Duane Toews is talking beef marketing with Eric Baumgartner with VML Advertising.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Eric Baumgartner with VLM Advertising. And Eric, you have an opportunity to work within the beef industry at times, particularly on some of those research projects to evaluate how is it that we meet today's consumers' needs, and that's a pretty diverse market.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. And, as we look at modern consumers today, they're using all sorts of different devices to buy. And if you think about your mobile device, iPads, computers, all these different things, you're allowed to buy anything anywhere 24/7. So as we think about beef and think about how we're talking to consumers, we need to be where they are and to give them access to the tools that they need to get our product faster, easier, and better.
We think about doing that. It is such a diverse marketplace and evolving trends and changes within industries, but ultimately it appears that convenience, ease, and a better understanding maybe of where that food came from is becoming a bigger part of it as well.
Absolutely. And I think, what's really fascinating about that, you talked about ease and convenience as being definitely one of them, but it's also the research tools that are available to people. They're able to, track exactly where, their beef comes from, how it was braised, produced, packaged, all those things. And, 10 years ago, you couldn't do that. And now, there's such a deluge of information and data that really empowers consumers to get the absolute best products that they want for the best price. And so that's always going to be our challenge is how do we, stay ahead of that? How do we use that, to our advantage? And what are some of the tools that will really, help us propel the beef, as the number one protein?
From your work in that realm, how do you see the industry performing at this point, and how much ground do we need to make up?
Well, I think we've made, huge strides, actually. I really credit the NCBA for, being a very, forward thinker when it comes to innovation and using technology. Of course, we'll always have a long way to go, but I think we're making great strides and catching up super fast.
A lot of talk about millennials, kind of almost, it seems, a catchphrase in everything we do as of late. Reality it is maybe a big term, but not necessarily the most describing in terms of folks that just really are of a mindset of wanting to know more.
Well, and I think, we do talk about millennials quite a bit, but I really think that the technology has really empowered virtually every audience from every gender and every race to be able to, to get the information they need. Millennials just happen to be more native to it. And the next generations, I think about my 11-year-old, and it's funny that he thinks everything's a touchscreen and he thinks everything's on demand. He talks to the TV thinking it's going to, get him exactly what he wants because he was raised in it. So when we think about that, older generations are picking up and adapting to it because they're finding how useful it is. And millennials and, earlier generations, even the centennials, I think is the newest generation now, are just native to it. But I think everyone is collectively accessing it. And some are just more natural and others are learning it because it is so powerful and it does give them access to areas of shopping that they just didn't have before.
Our thanks to Eric Baumgartner joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.